Hey there, YouTube. Tristan Blaze. And what I'm doing is I'm doing an update. JR code or Junior code. I don't know how to do it. Just drop me a comment. Is it JR or Junior? And I'll be able to pronounce it properly. Wanted to know what I was doing magic wise a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, before I dropped my part 5 dredge deck list. I got one more to go. And then unless something really amazing comes out with dredge, I'm just not going to do any more dredge stuff. So this is a little update to let my subscribers who follow me for Magic the Gathering, let them know what I'm doing with Magic the Gathering. Right now, these are the decks that I've finished. This is my gauntlet. I got 6 dredge variants. I got goblins, 10 land stompy. This one is a good training tool, not quality for tournaments. We got Belcher, we got Green Black Infect, Burn Affinity, Enchantress, Death and Taxes, Mono Black Pox, and Dreadstill. Now, what are my plans for future deck techs? Number one, these are the 3 decks. Don't look at these over here. These are special. We'll get to those later. These 3 decks here are the decks that I'm working on. Lands. Had a comment on that. This is a very, very long, drawn-out deck. I don't have just an assload of money to blow on that. I tend to get cards bit by bit. Right now, I'm going for a green-red build for lands, so I'm running gambles, crop rotations, punishing fires, life from the loams, mana bonds, that sort of stuff. Well, yeah, exploration, it's green-red, basically. I get cards piece by piece, I add them into it. I could do a video every time I get something, but it's going to be maybe 30 seconds. Hey, I'm unboxing 3-4 copies of blank, and that's it. So I'm not gonna do that. It's just a waste of time for you to watch it. But the decks I'm currently working on for Legacy is I got the Walking Dead, and I got Blue-Red Delver that I'm working on. Blue-Red Delver is gonna need a couple of fetch lands, the sideboard basically, and 2 volcanic islands, and I'm pretty much done. That's going to give me 4 volcanic islands. I'm probably going to go with Scalding Tarn for the fetch land. I could go with anything. I got Polluted Deltas, Flooded Strands already, but I'm going to go with Scalding Tarn anyways, and we'll get into why in a bit. Walking Dead, I already have Bayous, so all I would need for the Walking Dead, dual land, fetch land, expensive card-wise, you're looking at Thoughtseize, Abrupt Decay, 2 Badlands, at least 2 Badlands, maybe 3, 2 Scrublands, and more than likely some Bloodstained Mires. It's pretty much all I would really need. Expensive-wise. There's like other, like random crap, like I need like 1 Pithing Needle, or I need like 2 Oblivion Rings, or, like 2 Tormod's Crypt, really cheap stuff that I'm not going to go out and buy right now because I got bigger stuff to worry about. Now, interesting situation. Once I get those decks done, I can go and put up a black-red goblin build. I'm still finalizing, right now I'm still finalizing the build of red-white goblins that I've been tinkering with for a bit. Because I also have both Bayou and Pox, I could go with a green-black Loam Pox build, which I'm kind of just mashing around in my head. Just really mashing that idea around in my head. I'm tinkering with it. How many Entomb should I go for? Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's just, random little bits and bobs that I'm going with. Now, lands is going to be a long-term project. I am going to get a bunch of cards for lands this year. I'm going to get some Mox Diamonds. I think I need 1 more gamble. Probably going to get a couple of explorations, obviously, for it. More than likely going to max out on Thespian Stages. Maybe get 1 or 2 Dark Depths. I'm not sure. Probably get Maze of Ith, though. Because Maze of Ith is not a massively expensive card. Now for the secret super duper insanity crap that I'm doing. Stacks and Parfait. No, not white stacks. For those who haven't played me in Magic, for those who don't know me personally, I used to play Vintage actually, and I played budget Vintage, very budget Vintage, to the point where I remember when I could bring a mono white Parfait deck to a tournament and actually have a decent shot at, like top 4. That's how long ago you could play mono white Parfait. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing back Parfait. I'm actually going to go ahead and put together a red-white build. I think red-white would be a bit stronger for casual. These are casual Vintage. And blue-red stacks. The blue-red stacks build, I'm going to be running a bunch of draw 7s. These are not going to have any power 9. No Time Twister, no Lotuses. The only Moxins we're going to be running are going to be like Mox Diamonds, Mox Opals. That's the limit of what we're going to do. So, being that it's going to be blue-red, you're going to see cards like Wheel of Fortune, cards like Windfall, cards like Winds of Change. You're going to see Tinker, you're going to see Memory Jar, Sol Ring, Mana Vault, Tolarian Academy, Triskelion, Su-Chi, Goblin Welder. I'm not running Mishra's Workshop, don't ask. I'm going to be running Ancient Tomb. I know it's a very big downgrade, but once again, this is a budget casual build, okay? See, we're going to do Karn Silver Golem, and obviously your favorite your favorite stacks cards are going to be in there. If you've ever played Vintage stacks, you're going to have Smokestack, Tanglewire, Trinisphere, Crucible Strip Lock. You're going to have Sphere of Resistance, Grim Monolith Voltaic Key. Yeah, we're going to run that too. Pretty much, I think I just ran over the entire deck list, basically. I just didn't give you the numbers. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to go red-white Parfait. Get the Mox Diamonds. That can go into lands now. It can go into Parfait. I'm not going to run Mox Diamonds with stacks. I don't see the point to doing it. That might change. I might test it and say, like, holy crap, all these, like, draw card spells, all these, like, draw 7, pseudo-draw 7s for some of them. Yeah, I'm going to need to run Mox Diamonds to just keep, getting mana acceleration. Maybe, maybe not. But once I get the Mox Diamonds for that, I can actually come out with a very, very old-school deck that I used to play. It was back in Extended when you could run dual lands in Extended. And it was the CMU Gun deck, which is a red-white land tax scroll rack. Basically land tax scroll rack like aggro deck. It's just really cheap white weenie and swords and bolts and just really quick. And, Firestorm for like God knows however much you could get it for. So I'm going to be putting that historic deck tech up because it was historic because it actually was the reason land tax got banned in Extended. Which for those who play Legacy, when Legacy first came out in a format, they basically took the Vintage banned list and the Legacy banned list and the Vintage restricted list, the Vintage restricted and banned list, as well as the old Extended banned list, and kind of just mashed them together and had a bunch of shit that just didn't need to be banned in Legacy fucking banned, like land tax. People say, well, and people used to say, well, if land tax comes out, you're going to have longer games. This deck can win on turn 2 without any land. This deck can win on turn 1. If you have a problem with longer games than turn 2 or turn 1, you really don't need to be playing Legacy. Go play Vintage where you can do some massively insane shit on turn 1. The insane shit we can pull with Charbelcher on turn 1, Yeah, they can go even more insane in fucking Vintage, by the way. Trust me, I used to actually play a proxied version of Dutch Tendrils. That was nuts. I mean, that was legitimately fucking crazy. The shit that I could pull and just storm count for, you know, the rest of my deck on like turn 5 almost. But then again, I'm not really a good storm player. So this is like a minor update. Decks I got done. 2 Goblin decks are going to be coming out in the near future. One after tax time. I'm going to have to wait till tax time to get the actual fetches and the actual duels for black-red. I might actually come out with a red-white-black build after that. I don't know. One more dredge build. Tinkering with green-black Pox at the time. We got these 2 decks. We got these 2 vintage decks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 historic deck techs CMU gun. That would be 9. So I got like 9 more deck techs coming out in the future. Burn, I might actually change up Burn. I've seen a lot of really good cards that have just come out, and I just haven't bought them. So maybe Lands is fucking Lands, man. Tabernacle is going to be literally the last card I purchase for the deck. It really is. But once I start getting the majority of the deck, it's going to be a lot easier, because then I could give sort of like an update on it and show you, here's what I'm running, here's my, here's what I chose for utility. Maybe I chose a Caracas, maybe I chose Bajoku Bog, maybe I chose Urborg. It depends on how I feel as I'm putting the deck together. Maybe I want this card, maybe I don't, and then go through some random gold fishing. But this is the basic update. Long term, what am I looking to do with my Magic the Gathering? Number 1, playset of every duel, playset of every fetch land, right off the bat. Am I going to start leaning more towards Vintage? Unless I can get my hands on the Power 9 relatively cheaply, no. I might come out with some budgetized builds for Vintage decks. They're not going to be massively tournament quality. But if you just want to kick around on like Friday night, Saturday night, kitchen table, and savagely top deck like Tinker and freaking Yawgmoth's Will with friends casually, yeah, they'll be fun for that. Plus, if you ever do decide to get into Vintage, you'll have a good amount of cards that are only playable in Vintage by then. So this is my decision on what I'm doing with the deck. In terms of decks after these, I'm thinking maybe blue-black Tezzeret. I'm gonna have 4 volcanic islands. Probably grab a couple of tundras and put together miracles. I'm gonna have Pox. I'm gonna have some black-white duels. Maybe Holy Pox, the black-white build of Pox. Maybe go ahead, put together Dead Guy Ale in the future. It all depends. It all depends, man. It depends on what's going on. Who knows? Maybe Dead Guy Ale will just completely fall by the wayside in the next year or two, and nobody will play it. I wouldn't need to build a deck then. I just wouldn't. Remember, nobody plays Red-White Rifter anymore. You never heard of that deck? Congratulations. You never heard of a deck that rocked like maybe 3 Grand Prix and then just literally fell apart because it was a glass fucking cannon. That's all it was, man. It was Humility and Lightning Rift, a shit ton of cycling cards, and every fucking blue combo deck you went up against, you literally just said game and walked away because there's no freaking way you could win. But you could kill goblins left and right with that deck, man. And that was back when goblins was literally like one of the most feared decks you could play, which is why Rifter did so damn good. Nobody plays it anymore, so I'm not going to do a deck tech on it. There you go. So, if you want, maybe you have like a personal deck that you might want me to build. Shoot me a, hey, what do you think of building this? Shoot me a comment. Shoot me a possible deck list. I'll go through it, make a few changes to my personal playstyle. Once again, my personal style is going to be different than yours. I even casually try to savagely top deck like anybody you would see on a Star City game live stream. That's me. And, like, comment, subscribe. If you're new, check all the deck techs out. See if there's something that I missed. Maybe I missed something in a Death and Taxes build or my Dredge build, my Dredge Still, my Affinity. Just, hey, check it out. See, maybe I missed something. Maybe I got something you missed, and you're like, oh shit, I never thought of that. Check out my deck techs there. Check out the channel in the future because more stuff is coming. Like I say to all my haters, be patient. There's so much more to come. Peace.